Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask SplitSuit a Question. I am James SplitSuit Sweeney here for thepokerbank.com, and today we're going to answer one of your questions. So today's question comes from Travis, and Travis says, do you think hand reading is important in micro stakes? At say 2 no limit or 5 no limit, do you think hand reading is an important skill, or should classifying our hand and betting for value at these levels be enough? If you don't think it's important at 5 no limit, at what point do you think hand reading starts to become relevant? So Travis, that's a great question, and I think hand reading is very, very important and something that you should be starting to work on even if you're playing 2 no limit, 5 no limit, and of course if you're playing any higher than that. Now you mentioned one specific part in your question that I really want to touch on. You said, should we kind of classify our hand strength and just value bet a ton? Now, in order to correctly classify your hand strength, you actually have to do some semblance of hand reading because you have to have an idea on where your opponent's range is right this moment and how it's going to look if you do decide to, say, bet into them. So, it's very easy if you have a situation where you have total air or you have the nuts, because obviously those are very easy to distinguish, and, classification is going to be extremely easy. You either have the nuts, you have total air, and you know you're bluffing. But when you're betting something in between, say a single pair, or you're continuation betting with ace king high, those kind of things, you can't really classify if it's going to be a value bet or if it's going to be a semi-bluff or if it's going to be a showdown value type situation unless you're looking at your opponent's range of hands. So you need some semblance of hand reading. Now, hand reading at these limits can be very tricky simply because people in micro limit games are doing things that are weird. They have misunderstandings of concepts such as showdown value, so they may check raise with, say, top pair no kicker in a situation where most people would just check call. So it's a little bit tricky to hand read at these limits, but I did a video that I think you would benefit from. It's called the 3 L's of hand reading. I would definitely suggest checking that out. At least gives you a primer and a framework when it comes to hand reading. But you should most certainly start thinking about hand reading and improving your hand reading skills now, even in the micros. Now, one of the things that I think is really helpful when it comes to building your hand reading skill set is hand reading yourself. So start looking at your own ranges. Think about what you open from under the gun, what you standard open with from middle position, what you standard 3-bet with from the cutoff, that sort of thing. And start putting together some of your own ranges and understanding what your ranges look like. And then say, okay, well, if I know that I'm a 18-15 and this is what my ranges look like from each position, then you have a basic idea on what someone else who's running 18-15 might have, and you also say you're playing against someone who's a little bit tighter, well, probably a tighter version of your range. Someone who's a little bit looser, probably a little looser version of your range. So at least to get you a starting point. It's not going to be perfect by any stretch, but at least having a starting point to work with when it comes to hand reading is going to be very, very beneficial. So the short answer, yes, hand reading is very important. Start working on that skill set now, and it's going to benefit you a ton in the long run. So Travis, thanks for the excellent question, and if you or anyone else has any poker-related question, feel free to leave them on our Google Plus page. I'll leave a link for that in the description box. And same as always, please make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this type of video. So same as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding.